Hi everyone! This week's Thursday video is a little bit different to normal. This week I'm painting my bedroom rather than doing painting in a book or doing a painting, but I thought it's still art related and I thought you might like to have a nose at what I've been up to. So here's how my bedroom looked a week ago. So you came into my room and you were instantly faced with a towel and some other stuff hanging, and you can see that my wardrobe is broken on the corner. It has been ever since I've had it, and I am getting a new wardrobe, so that'll be gone. My door is just absolutely covered with coats and my dressing gown, so I'm going to limit that to what's on there, one thing on each hook rather than two things on each hook. Then obviously I don't usually have a cardboard box here, but that's got my new wardrobe in it. Had to take down my big picture that was here. As you can see, there's just a hook. This is my favourite corner of the room. It's my little dressing area. I tried to make a feature wall out of it, but to be honest, it just looks cluttered. And then got to sleep with the fan on, so that has to have a place as well. So again, it just looks like a mess in this corner. And this is like a corner which is hard to get to because where my hat is, under there I've got a bird cage with all my hair things in it. And again, it's just a mess, but it's just an awkward corner. I don't know what to do with it, so I'm going to change that. Then as you can see, I got my bed. I've had this in several places in my room, but this is the best position for it. I've tried it under the window and in other places. I got bunting that was made for me, and then that picture is very special. I got it when I did an art exhibition. And then we've got my bedside table that I've painted several times, and this broken lamp, which just seems to collect the dust. I don't think you can see it on the camera, thankfully. So I'm going to change this bedside table. I got my bin hidden underneath. And then here's the doll's house that my dad made me years ago. So again, very special, but I obviously don't use it. I got the picture of my mum and dad and my dog above my unit. So that's going to be moved because you can't really see that. But this doll's house is very heavy, so I'm going to have to move that somewhere else, I think. And then you've got my mirrored wardrobe at the moment, which is full to the brim. So I'm going to have a sort out of my clothes, and we will see how we get with that. But it's literally full. That's full. My white unit there is full. And then this wardrobe, hello, is full of shoes. And I am a shoe fanatic. Literally all the way across is just full of shoes, and I got books in the top, shoes, and then at the bottom I've got boxes of shoes with other random stuff around it. And then I want to change that so we can actually hang some stuff in there, and I want to paint my unit as well. And then we got this unit, which has been really helpful, but again, it's just full of clutter and it looks like a right mess. So we got some things that I've collected along the years, and then we've got my camera stuff and a very special Mr. Humpty Dumpty globe, which I've had since I was about 6 years old. And then I got my washing in that basket at the bottom. I'm keeping it like that at the bottom, but we'll do something else with the shelves and actually move it somewhere else. So on my wardrobe, I've got these marks from hairspray. So I'm going to have a wardrobe which just has plain white doors rather than with the mirrors. And let's get started on what we're going to do. So to begin with, I just started by emptying my shelving unit and putting it into some boxes, and just making sure that all my fragile stuff was wrapped up neatly. I decided to get rid of my books. Well, not get rid of my books. I put them in the attic because I didn't want to actually get rid of them forever. They're books from my childhood, so I don't really read them anymore, but they're also quite special to me and have sentimental value. So those are going away in the attic along with some other things just to get rid of some clutter. The idea for my bedroom is to go for very clean, minimal, mid-century looking room. I'm very much into vintage stuff, but also I felt like my room was too cluttered before, so I just want a clean, fresh slate. Then I started working on my wardrobe, moving my clothes out, and I didn't really have anywhere to put them. This has been a very awkward room makeover really, because I didn't have anywhere to put stuff. Everywhere in the house is quite full up at the moment, and my room is an awkward shape and size, and it's not really that big. It's 13 by 11 foot. So I just had to work with what space I had, but as you can see there's a massive pile of clothes on my bed, and I actually ended up sleeping on the sofa for 2 nights whilst I decorated. Big mistake. I then moved on to my built-in wardrobe full of shoes. It's always had shelves all the way along the wall from one side to the other. And I didn't really realise until now why my dad had put in shelves. I found it really hard to find a rail that would fit. You can't put a rail across the width of the wardrobe because it's not wide enough for coat hangers, but finding them to go the depth of the wardrobe was a nightmare, so I had to get some specially cut. As you can see, I actually used tension rods to create extra shelves for my shoes because I didn't actually have enough shelves of what's there. There's quite a big distance between the shelves, so I wanted to make use of the space. But actually these tension rods have come in really useful, and I'm going to use them again when I've painted the wardrobe. I'm going to put them back in the bottom just to have shelves for my shoes again, but put them in a more compact area. I didn't want to take out all the shelves of my wardrobe because they are actually really useful. I just took out the middle one because I want to put a rail in, and then I could have a top shelf then that I could put some storage in, and on the bottom I wanted to put my shoes into. So I ripped out the central shelf, I used some filler and sanded that back to make it nice and smooth for me to paint. I didn't film that because no one wants to see preparation. Preparation is boring, but prep is key to a good finish. I did have problems getting my one mirrored door off, so I left that one on there, so I just had to work with it, but actually I managed to paint around everything, so it turned out okay. I decided to give my wardrobe a bit of love and a pop of colour so that when you slide the wardrobe open it contrasts against what will be white walls. So I went with a nice mid-grey, which I absolutely love. I can link the colour in the description box below, but it's a gorgeous deep colour and I love it. It was so satisfying to cover the magnolia that's been in there for 19 years and has looked so dull and drab. It was just so nice to give it some colour in there. And actually, to give the wardrobe some love, we kind of neglect it. We just shove stuff in there, shut the door and don't even think about it. But actually, it's really important, I think, just so it looks smart and gives you a cohesive scheme. Before my dad painted the inside of this cupboard magnolia, it used to have black glossy doors and the inside of my cupboard was black and it was horrendous. My room, I remember it from 19 years ago when we got here. I was like, why did you buy this house? But actually I understand why. But my ceiling was green and just I don't understand why. It was green and then my walls were grey and my carpet was even greyer, but like a disgusting dirty stripy carpet, and it just didn't look good. And now thankfully grey is back in, but this is going to be a better looking grey than what it was, and it's not going to be everywhere with a green ceiling. So I painted my whole cupboard grey inside. The only thing that I didn't paint was the shelves, the top part. I wanted that white stripe to give it that nice contrast against the dark grey, but I did paint the wooden supports grey. Whilst I was waiting for the paint in my cupboard to dry, I decided to put together my boxes that will go in the top of my cupboard. Please ignore the mess. Thankfully, out of shot is my bed, which was just wow, just piled high with clothes, as you saw earlier on. That was still there. I had piles of books. I now have boxes of stuff from the unit that you saw me sort out earlier, and all of the stuff out of this wardrobe. It was just everywhere, and I only had a small space to work in, but I had no other space really to put my stuff in the house. And also at this point it wasn't lockdown, so we did still have visitors coming, and I didn't want them to see the mess. I was so confused why there was an Allen key to screw screws into these boxes, and then I realised that actually there was a screwdriver end to the Allen key. I had so much stress putting these wardrobe rails into the wardrobe. I only filmed the one, I didn't bother filming the second one. It just took so much longer than I planned, and it was just such a tight place to work in. And where I was screwing it in with the screwdriver was catching on the paint and scratching the paint off, and it was a nightmare. I didn't film what I did in the bottom part of the cupboard because it was too dark by the time I did this. I added my tension rods again so that I have three rows of shoes in the bottom part of my wardrobe, and they all just fit in. I put these boxes up in the top of my cupboard, which is where I'm going to keep stuff that I don't use all year round, like jumpers and shorts, skirts, and also my walking stuff as well. I felt happy that I got the cupboard sorted. That was one thing that I'd accomplished off my list. I just had to do the rest of the room now. Otherwise, if my wardrobe's shut, it looks like I've done nothing to my room yet. But my head just wasn't in a great place with this year being as it has been, as I'm sure it is for many people. It's been an odd year that has just got me down a little bit, to be honest. So my motivation was quite low to do my room. I thought it'd perk me up a bit, but actually my motivation had gone quite a lot. I'd done decorating around the rest of the house earlier on in the year, and I got on with that and done my usual thing, being really productive. But this room I didn't do in my normal order, and it's an awkward room to work with as well, so I've had to just move my furniture around as I work, and I've had to do it wall by wall rather than get the walls done first, then get the skirting board done, paint other things, and then move my furniture back in. I've had to do it in an odd way, so yes, I am aware that this isn't the conventional way of decorating a bedroom, but it's the way I ended up doing it just because I was lacking on space, and the way that I felt at the time, I just felt like I needed to see progress wall by wall basically. I put up my new IKEA wardrobe, which is a lot smaller than the other one. I hadn't realised how much smaller it was, but that's okay because that means that I have to have a real good sort out through my clothes and try and be good and not purchase so many clothes. My problem is I'll get rid of clothes, I'll eBay them, and then that money that I make from those I'll buy something else new. So I'm going to try and not do that because I actually do that quite a lot after I've worn something a couple of times. Does anyone else find putting up flat pack furniture from IKEA, specifically from IKEA, really relaxing? I find it so therapeutic. Although I have to say the last wardrobe that you saw at the beginning of the video, that I was putting up till 4 a.m. in the morning, and that was bigger and I was a lot younger. I just couldn't wait to put it up, and I wish that I did because you really needed 2 people for that one, and that's why it was not very good and it didn't last as long as it's meant to. That's my own fault for not being patient. After my day of wardrobe building, I decided to just call it a day pretty much. I just prepared the rest of the room ready to be painted. So I took off anything hanging on the wall, any ornaments I put away, and I actually sorted out my dressing table and put those into boxes, but for some reason it didn't film. I thought it was filming, I even checked it and it said that it's filming, but there we go. So just imagine I've put everything away, it's all nice and neat and tidy, ready to paint for tomorrow. I've just realised that my camera isn't actually picking up the pale pink of my walls, the colour that it was, so when I'm painting with the pure brilliant white, it's actually looking exactly the same as before. I promise you though, I am definitely painting white, and you'll be able to see the difference in the before and after pictures. Another job that I did whilst I was just waiting for paint to dry was with my shelving unit that you saw me empty earlier on. I just wanted to revamp it a little bit, and I got these mirrored stickers from Amazon. I'll link them in the description box below, but I just wanted to cover the whole of the back piece in it just to give it a bit more light in the room, because on these shelves I'm going to put a lamp and I want the light to be reflected into the rest of the room. I emptied out everything underneath my bed, all the boxes. They're all piled up out of shot at the moment, but I have my studio lighting kit, my other photography stuff on the bed, my sewing box, and there's a pile of clothes. I think they're actually under the duvet at this point. I just need to get everything off the floor so I can move the bed and get to that wall ready to paint. I'm going to be completely honest, under my bed was so dusty, I gave it a really good hoover, and also my skirting board was thick with dust. It's just I can't get to it in the corner. It's really hard to get under my bed and I struggle with my back. My bed was once again piled high with stuff, so I had to sort that out before I ended up sleeping on the sofa again. So I put everything back underneath my bed. I'd painted my skirting board and my wall for that corner, also my radiator. I'd actually moved my bed away from the wall slightly. There's not that much of a gap, I think it's about 30 centimetres on the one side, but it's just enough to get down the one side, so actually everything could dry properly. But I managed to put everything away and actually go to sleep that night on my bed. This was one of those days that I was talking about earlier where I was just not in a great mindset and I was feeling quite down, so I didn't have the motivation to do anything all day to my room. I did other stuff, but I just needed a break away from painting and doing stuff to my room, so I left it until the evening to actually paint my other built-in cupboard. I painted it the same grey as the inside of the mirrored built-in cupboard, and I'm just thankful that I got something done that day. I felt a lot better after I'd achieved one thing. We added some lovely grey blinds instead of having big bulky curtains, so that I could actually have the sheer curtains that I've wanted since I was a little girl. I added a rug for a bit of soundproofing as it's a bit more echoey in my room now, and just that finishing touch. Let's remind ourselves of what my room looked like before. It is really cluttered, and I went for the vintagey vibe, but it never really worked for me, and I didn't actually finish some things like painting around the door. My feature wall never really worked either, it just didn't have a cohesive scheme. And I just had too much stuff in general. Now when you walk into my room, you still got a wardrobe there, but look at how much brighter it is when you come in. My wardrobe is actually finished and everything's a lot neater and tidier. You got some greenery in there and a feature wall that actually works. I really love my shelves. Like I said, I wanted the light to bounce off those mirrors and it really does. You can actually walk around my bed as well, which has never been the case in this corner. You've got a little side unit down the side there as well, so you've got a bedside table on both sides of the bed. I also have a new bedside table that's grey and it matches the cupboard door perfectly. I'm so happy with the outcome of this room. It's much brighter and a lot less cluttered.